In this video, I'm going to explain how to gather the configuration inputs for your configuration of the OpenCRVS team. You can find the configuration templates by navigating to Gather Requirements in the Setup section of the documentation. And here there is a link to the OpenCRVS requirements templates. This will take you to this page, the Gather Requirements page in GitHub, where all our templates are available for downloading. If you select this link here, it will download a zip file full of these links. I opened one of these earlier, so you can see this here. In this file, you will be able to see all the templates that you are required to configure the application. Let's start with administrative structure. Administrative structure holds all the reference data for the country. So understanding each of the different administrative structures and levels and assigning them with a code so they can be identified within the system. You can see here there is a guide tab and a template tab. The guide is here to explain how to complete the template, and the template then is for you to complete with your country's information. You can gather in most countries a lot of this reference data from the Humanitarian Data Exchange. So just click on this link and it will take you to a website where you can find each country's reference data. If that reference data is not available, you can get it obviously from a source file within your country. You can see that each administrative structure has a label, a code, and a name, and this can be added for as many administration levels as you like. The next configuration template relates to statistical data. The statistical template is required so that your performance management data reflects your population data. Here you can see the examples relating to each administrative code. Ideally, you provide the statistical data for the lowest level of administration so that it can be extrapolated up nice and easily. We capture the code and the name as you just added into the reference data, and then we add the population for the last year, the male population, the female, the total, and the accrued birth rate. And for death, we add accrued death rate, and then we can take that back for as many years as required. The next set of reference data that you need to complete is for CRVS offices. Once again, we will provide each office with an ID and a name, and we will assign it to a part of one of those levels of administrative data. We will then also add the type, and in this case, it's always a CRVS office. This is where registration activities are conducted and records are processed. The next template, very similar, is for health facilities. So if births and deaths are going to occur in health facilities and you want to provide users with an easy drop-down, you will need to add reference data for health facilities. Once again, this template mirrors what was in the CRVS office. We provide it with a unique ID, a name, part of a specific lowest level administrative data with the code, and again, tag it as the type health_facility. The application settings file helps you define some of the key items of the application. For instance, what is the name of the application? So while the product is called OpenCRVS, we may, for instance, call the Frageland system Frageland CRV. We would then add links to PNG files for the government logo. If there is a login background, this can either be a picture or a hex color, the currency of operation in the country, and a number of other features required for configuration, such as regexes for both phone number and the national ID number. It also defines the legally specified periods of time so that you can differentiate between on-time and late registrations, for example, and any fees associated with that. And we define these for birth, death, and marriage, as well as some other questions related to whether you need to have multiple languages within your system, whether you're allowed to use digital signatures, and so on and so forth. The declaration forms template is an easy way of preparing a configuration file so that the developer in charge of configuring the form has all the information they need. In the guide, you can see common sections that are included in a birth registration form. And we have labels for these, the questions, the type of field. So is it a free text field? So anything can be entered. Is it a date field? Is it a select, giving numerous options? And so on and so forth. For each of these, we would then give details of the options, any validation rules, whether each field is mandatory, whether there's conditional logic for that field to appear, and whether it appears on the certificate, along with some certificate logic. You can also see in this input file examples from Fraudulent for both birth and death, and then some blank templates for you to update for your country's requirements. The certificate file template allows you to detail the details on the certificate and which fields map to those handlebars, so where they're going to be shown on the certificate file, and we can use this file to make sure that the developer knows where to pull that data from. The roles template allows you to align the system role with the names for these user roles within a country. For instance, in a certain country, a field agent might be a healthcare worker, perhaps it's a police officer or community leader. Because this can differ in every country, we allow you to assign specific user roles to these system roles to make sure that they reflect a country's needs. The translation file is, as the name suggests, a file where if you are using any other language other than English or French, you can add the language in here. This includes all the copy from the client application, the login application, and includes details of SMSs and emails. This subsequently needs to be updated for your country's requirements. We've also provided a template specifically for emails and SMSs so that you can update this in a separate file, and this is easier to import into the system. And that's it. All configuration files, easily downloadable templates, as well as some examples from other countries. We hope this helps.